Well, hello and welcome to Marriage and Family Systems from Moody Bible Distance Learning. This is your fearless leader, Professor Jefferson, coming to you from the remote location of my office in Pontiac, Illinois. Yes, I have the window open in my office today and it's not snowing. So that's a good April day in Illinois. So it snowed on Monday, it snowed yesterday, and by Thursday, it's going to be 72 and thunderstorms. So this is how we do things here in Illinois. And as I told you, I'll complain about the weather every single week because that's what we do here in Illinois. So welcome to week 5. We have actually gone past the halfway point and we are going downhill. For those of you who are runners in this class like I am, I can tell you that if you're running any kind of race, a half marathon or a marathon or even a 5K, you know where you've reached the halfway point, and it's a little easier because you know you're halfway there. So we're halfway there, and I wanted to tell you as I'm grading your assignments 4.1 and 4.2, the summaries, so one-page summaries. Almost every assignment that I grade, I try to give a personal note to you about something you wrote or whatever else. But I'll be honest with you, I've basically read 50 or 60 of the same papers, and I will. Some of you will just get good summary, and that's actually true. If it's not a good summary, I'm not going to write that. So don't be surprised by that. I'll be back to hopefully doing some personalized notes this week. So week 5. What are we going to do week 5? Well, first of all, we're going to be reading Parrot and Parrots, and we're going to be talking about our Perot and Perot, Parrot and Parrot. I don't know. I'm not friends with them. I think it's Parrot and Parrot, but 4 myths of marriage. And so you'll be reading that. I know some of you are already familiar with this, and but I'll be honest with you. When I got married, I had a lot of myths that I didn't know about, and so did Maxine. And those myths affected us the first couple of years we were married. So I've often told people, I really wish I'd taken this class before I was married. It would have been very helpful. So what you're going to do is you're going to read that, and the 5.2 is going to be a summary of the 4 myths of marriage. And again, this is not a reflection paper. This is basically a summary. So you're just going to summarize the 4 myths, and then you're going to do a genogram. Now, I did a genogram. It was my very first assignment in seminary, the very first assignment I ever had in seminary. And it ended up being 65 pages long. Now, it was 3 generations back, and I had to take each individual dyad and family system and go through the whole thing. So 65 pages. You don't have to do that. In fact, you don't even have to turn in the genogram. You just need to do a quick genogram. You can find one online. And then fill in as much as you can. You may want to call grandma or grandpa or your mom and dad or an uncle or somebody to help you. And then what you're going to do in this paper is just simply what stood out to you. I've had students say, hey, it was kind of a hard assignment. I don't know much about my family, or it was a hard assignment. Most of my uncles are alcoholics, that was my genogram. Or some would say, hey, I found out something really amazing about my grandma that I didn't know. Just one page double space, so it's not a big deal, okay? So the summary of the 4 myths of marriage is 1 page double spaced as well. On the discussion board, you're going to be talking about what was a new understanding about the common myths of marriage, and then in particular, what particular myth do you find yourself most vulnerable to? Okay, so pick one of the 4 and just say, if you're married, you may have seen this played out in the first couple of years of marriage, or the first couple of minutes, and if you're not married, what myth do you think you will be vulnerable to? Okay, so that's week 5. The question of the week is another one of my favorite questions. If you could tell your 10-year younger self, okay, so I'm 49, if I could tell my 39-year-old self something, one thing that I think is important now that I didn't know then, what would it be? So that's your question of the week. What would you tell your 10-year younger self? If you are 35, then what would you tell your 25-year-old self that you didn't know then? Okay? All right, so I would also like to remind you that week 8 is when you will have your family research paper. or week 8, your family research paper. Okay? So I would really like you to start working on that. I will tell you, just to make some of you feel guilty, I've already had a student hand theirs in. Woohoo! Way to go. So I look forward to reading that. And those papers I take very seriously. I read every word. And please, I'm going to beg you, make sure to proofread it. Because one of the ways I force myself to read every word is to do a hard edit of your paper. So that keeps me engaged. And so make sure that you do, make sure you proofread, you grammarly, you read it out loud, even if you have to have somebody else read it for you. So, all right, that's it, I think. Oh, one more thing. I know that Blackboard can be very buggy, as it has been again this past week. I would really encourage you, if you, I know some of you, that's when you do it, but if you could post your discussion boards earlier than 11:57 on Friday night, that would probably help. Uh, so in case something does go wrong, you're not freaking out and trying to figure out what to do. The same thing with Monday night. I was just looking at some of those papers, and 15 of them came in 3 minutes, like 10 minutes before midnight. I would just encourage you to try to do things a little bit earlier in the week, just in case Blackboard is buggy. If it is buggy, please email me. Just let me know. We'll figure it out. You can email me your papers. We'll do whatever it takes. Okay? All right, that's it. If you have any comments, questions, or prayer requests, please let me know. Onward and upwards. I think that's it.